So they were talking. So then one of them asked me, then we are doing like that. When he had, I am from RBI. So I asked them 4 or 5 questions. Before starting, are you aware of these things? So I was surprised they were not. So then I remembered the 4 or 5 NBFCs which were run by London and US educated youngsters, why they have failed within 4 or 5 years. So that is the one I will tell you. And that was fortunately not covered because all are businessmen. So they skipped that portion which a regulator is expecting. So before starting anything, Madam, I have changed the topic. So I will tell in line with what they are expecting. The assumptions. All theories, whether it is of business or of anything, depend on the following 3 things which we have forgotten. Human beings are by birth irrational, greedy and stupid. And 90% of the financial crises which have happened during the last century are out of either of these. Especially human stupidity is the most responsible for business failures. And in India, just one sentence, all crises or failures in banking sector, if you see, I will not name them, are because of greediness and lack of ethics. Corporate governance failures only. They didn't lack on either getting finance or having the ability to run business. But after earning a few crores, few means they have earned 10,000 crores, then they suddenly, till 10,000 they forgot. We are by nature should be greedy, then they realized I should be greedy and committed some stupid mistakes for which now they are either out of the country or are in jail, including women whom I respect by creation of God are superior than men. Even they can also commit this stupidity and go into jail for lack of ethics, for which they were created. For ethics only women were created. But the other characteristic of human beings, which is stupidity and greedy, overpowers the human nature of women, that they should be superior in terms of intelligence and decision. First point. Second, we all have been taught risk, what cannot be measured, cannot be managed. Risk especially. Until AI, ML were invented, there was no wherewithal to measure risks. Still, we have been claiming that we are able to manage risks. So another huge business men, the first thing, hope capital first, risk first or deployment first? Question. Risk is dynamic or static? And what you cannot measure, can you claim you can manage? These 3 questions should be answered by yourself. So after you think of doing your own business. And this even CROs, when we address CROs, Chief Risk Officers, banks, NBFC and NBFCs, how to run their business in the changing world. That is my expertise. That is why Madam wanted me to speak. But I thought certain things, these things were skipped by prominent startup holders and now business men. I thought I would tell this. So this what I skipped, I told. Now what I wanted to tell, I will tell. Technology, you also told. But technology also has another dimension. We have found now for banking sector. Because to improve everything, you have to have technology. And you cannot have it on the day one because of manpower issues. So either you have to hire persons to do it for you or you have to outsource, which most of you do. But without realizing, so by that you are adding another risk to your bouquet of risks which you have still not being able to measure. Because when a blood transfusion happens, so what is asked first? Like somebody seriously wanted B positive blood. So B positive blood is first checked of the patient. He needs B positive, not any blood. So naturally, when one has to outsource somebody, that we call in literature third party risk, outsourcing risk. Technology risk is different. So that I am not telling here. That if I tell you will get scared of using technology, we should encourage you to use technology. But if you are doing it yourself, like many IIT graduates, they sound themselves in technology and they are doing it. No issues. But many of us political students also do startup. Here we don't know anything, we hire. That I am telling. So we have to first understand not only what risk you will be carrying, you should also understand what risk he is carrying, which you will transfuse into that. So there will be a thin glass wall between both the organization. Organization and founder, glass wall he told, but organization and the outsourcing organization which you have integrated to improve. So that is the first thing. Now the latest, so rest I will skip. I will straight come to the point where I am the expert, for which he has invited me. That is smelling distress in advance. So you may have read our governor in most of his speeches, he headlines it. Keeping your organization's future ready. Keeping your organization distress immune. Why this issue came? So I wrote my book on this after seeing we have the habit of looking at my organization after the balance sheet date. How have I fared? So by then whether I have done well or I may have been terminally sick as well. So not only I should learn how to study my financial statements after the balance sheet is ready. So that has become a very, that will be redundant when I know and learn how to smell distress in advance. And before that, I should also understand another thing. In literature, the only word used is crisis. I heard you are thinking like either success or failure, as if life is that. Life is in between. Life is not yes or no. Life is not 2 plus 2 is 4. It is somewhere in between. Correct? Not this or that. So crisis is the terminal point. So if we try to redefine into the following like distress, instability and crisis, and try to smell distress at the distress level itself and not allow them to snowball into a state of instability, then crisis doesn't require. The best example, and this idea I got from COVID. So when you have sneezing, COVID time, please remember. So we take paracetamol 250 without going to a doctor. It may be some cold. I know it myself, I don't have to the doctor. Next morning, when I get up, I have temperature or no temperature. If I have no temperature, it is gone. So I have smelt my distress properly and solved it. In next morning, I rise up to see that temperature has gone up to 100. Yesterday it was not there. Then I take Dolo 650. COVID time, now Dolo 650 is banned. So then I wait for the next morning. Whether my 99 or 100 has gone back to 98.4 or it has gone to 102. If it has gone, then only I should call the ambulance and go to a center for MRI of my lungs and to find, to my surprise, Queen Corona is sitting there. So there are 3 stages, not the first one. So those who had paracetamol 250 and did not get the symptoms of cold the next day were not bothered because they were able to smell distress. So this COVID really proved my theory in my book. It should be this way. Not defining crisis, cancer first, and then try to take care of my body. So this in different language translates into I should boost my immunity and my resilience from day one. So with all that strategy, I should have strategy number 5. Whether it will be in which many years, by which strategies I can make it resilient. And what is the difference between stability and resilience, instability and stability? I will define and I will end here, because it is a one-day coaching. So I can end here because everybody is hungry, including mine, super hungry. So in that stage of mind, you don't